So 3, 2, 1, and we are starting the afternoon session. So please welcome back and take your seat. Thank you very much. So once again, a warm welcome back for the afternoon session that is going to be focused on the research infrastructures. And we are going to see two blocks. One block is going to be about presentation, basically a keynote lectures for infrastructures. And the second part is are going to be 6 flash talks with different perspective of research infrastructure. The first block is called Research Infrastructures as Pillar of EOSC Federation, and with the first presentation called From a Small Data Archive to a National Service Provider of Sustainable Data Services for Social Sciences in Europe, 25 years of CESSDA, the context of, Czech Social Data Archive in the context of European Social Archive and EOSC. So with that, I would like to invite Yana Leontiyeva, the head of Czech Social Sciences, Social Science Data Archive from Institute of Sociology at Academy of Science. Her research focuses on international migration, minority studies, and social research methodology. So dear Mrs. Leontiyeva, please come to stage. And please, warm welcome for her. And one more organizational thing for all the speakers here, Antonin, he has a time management on duty, I would say. So thank you very much, and please enjoy the talk.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this introduction, and thank you to organizers for inviting me to this event. I'm happy to be able to share with you our experience. As it was mentioned, I'm a social researcher, I'm a sociologist, but also I'm a head of the department and head of the Large Research Infrastructure Project. And today I will share with you our experience of quite, I think, a while, quite a long period of providing data services for social sciences in Czech Republic. Yes. So just to give you a brief insight into our developments within the last 25 years, actually 25 years we celebrated last year in autumn. The urge or the need to establish something like a data archive occurred in a large-scale research project on social stratification, where a lot of data were collected. But our colleagues at that time, they realized that not all the data will be utilized within the project. And it would be good to keep this data for the future generations of researchers and students. So it started like a small scale repository within the project. Then it became a department of the Institute of Sociology, and the main aim, clearly, acquisition and long-time preservation of data, and of course the distribution for non-commercial use. We also, at least we try to serve as a kind of an information source. So not only the source of primary data, but also the information source about other data which could be interesting for social scientists. We are also very active in promoting both data sharing culture and data management. We produce a number of information and education materials. We also organize different kind of seminars. We, as a part of the research institution, which is the largest depositor of data and collector of social science data, Institute of Sociology of the Academy of Sciences, we, of course, also collaborate because many of us are sociologists, many of us are specialized in methods of collecting social data. So we do collaborate on data fieldwork as such. So we, for a while, we collaborated with large research projects like International Social Survey, European Social Survey, International Social Survey Program, and also we are leading quite unique panel survey of Czech household. households. We are a part of a large European infrastructure, CESSDA. I will talk about this later. And we are as well quite active, mainly because of colleagues from my department in a number of EOSC activities. Also quite relevant information for you might be that since 2022, we have a joint infrastructure project where we united with this ERIC ESS, the Czech ESS, International Social Survey, and the advantage is that we are hosted within one institution, Institute of Sociology. So, and CSDA is leading this large infrastructure project. Our data, just overview for you what kind of services we provide. At the moment, we provide our data via online interface Dataverse. For a while, we were using Nestor, which we liked very much because it provided a unique opportunity for those who didn't have any statistical software on their computer, so that they can not only browse and look at the data and download the data, but also analyze them online. So there were some basic, even like regression analysis were possible to do that. Unfortunately, it was not sustainable, and we had to transfer all our data catalog to this online interface. Although it has a bit less for us as users, social scientists, options, but it has a very big advantage of being compatible with the other data catalogs. We deposit data on the basis of the deposit agreement, on the license agreement signed between the depositor and our hosting institution. At the moment, we have this more than 1,100 digital objects, which are, at least according to this CESSDA, CESSDA principles, are described as like a layered cake, where you have the essentialist data set, then you have metadata, then you have materials like questionnaires and technical information, and then as a cherry on the top, you have a persistent identifier. So we have, at the moment, more than 1,100 primary digital objects. Dominant discipline, of course, is a sociology, because many of our studies, as I mentioned, we are large data producers, so many of the studies originate from our own institutions. But we also have quite interesting data, not only from other research agencies and universities, but also, for example, from Czech television and even some private research agencies. We have about 60 active users at the moment. And because we migrated into this new Dataverse system, we had to update our users, but at the end of 23, we had almost 500 user accounts. And only 10%, but this number is growing constantly, but not as fast as we would like. So about 1/10 is users from outside the Czech Republic. This is just, I hope you will have the slides later. This is just for you to have a look at our data catalog. There's a link. We use DDA-based system for metadata. DOI is automatically registered, and quite useful thing for many researchers is that Dataverse generates automatic citations. And very good feature which helps us to make our data more visible and interoperable also is this feature of automated harvesting of our metadata into CESSDA data catalog, centralized data catalog. So these are the examples of how the data are cited. This is the number of the downloads. This is quite popular data of the Czech household panel surveys I mentioned before. This is to give you idea of our international connection and our role and relations within larger pan-European research infrastructure, which is Consortium for European Social Science Data Archives. We are one of the 22 members. We also have partners because CESSDA is also working on widening. And it was founded a while ago as an informal consortium. And we've been a member since 2001. And of course, we are also a member of CESSDA when it became also the ARIC, European Research Infrastructure Consortium. And advantage for those CESSDA providers who are members of CESSDA is that we share expertise. We are more efficient in providing our services to our research communities. We unite in developing and improving the common technology and also standards for data. And of course, it also provides us a lot of advantages in being eligible for European funding in larger projects. This is just the overview, again, with all the links of some major, I say, services and tools provided by CESSDA. Everything is available at the CESSDA web. I will just briefly introduce three of them: CESSDA Data Catalog, DMAG, and DAG. CESSDA Data Catalog, as I mentioned, is the centralized data catalog where we harvest the information from service providers, like our archives, the metadata, are harvested into this centralized data catalog. At the moment, about 75, I'm not sure you see all the texts, I'm sorry about the slides, about 75% of the data library, which consists of more than 40,000 data collections, are available in English, but there are some collections available in different languages across Europe. This is just example of how you, for example, try to find data on health and time span. So you end up with several number of studies, but of course you can specify other searching criteria. So it's like a signpost. This says a data catalog serves as a one-stop shop, where if, for example, you want to get an information what kind of social science data are on trust institution, for example. So you go to one website, one catalog, you find the data, and you by using this metadata, you understand what kind of data are there, and then it links you to the regional data sets held within service providers of CESSDA. This is another tool, a quite useful tool of CESSDA, and I'm proud to say that members of Czech Social Science Archive actively participated in creating this tool. And there's also, there will be in the slide, quite interesting example of gamization of this essential tool within SHAC project, by SHAC initiative. And this is the data management expert guide. It's designed to help social science to follow the whole process of data from the very first data collection, and to make this data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. This is another example of data archiving guide. This is a tool for archivists, and it's quite, there are some other tools like resource directories, which we also recommend to this new emerging archives, but this one is essential because it has very well structured information, and it's a kind of a guide which I think could be useful not only for infrastructures in social sciences. I just give you an example of how nice the chart about fair and care is presented in this deck. So you can actually check up if you find some useful information for you. So as a member of CESSDA, of course, it's a large organization, but as a member of CESSDA, our inclusion or contribution to EOSC is through the projects. We are not that active, or in this, these are the current projects. There are a lot of past projects. We're not, of course, active in all the projects, but at least through the shared experience and through our connection within CESSDA, we at least have, we know what is going on in those projects. And I would like to very shortly introduce you to, with one we were engaged a bit more intensively. This is the BiCOVID, which was quite interesting experience for us, actually, because it's a huge project. As you see, 53 partners from 19 countries, and it connected several research infrastructures. And the experience was also that we had to work very closely and intensively with the colleagues from other disciplines. So this thinking of how this interdisciplinarity, what could bring to this project like this, was very useful, at least for us. And CESSDA and us, of course, and other partners, we were about 4 CESSDA archives out of 22 involved in this. And we were involved in activities aimed on integration of COVID-related socioeconomic data, also harvested from some of them from CESSDA CDC, into the data portal, and developing also, quite important, the analyzing the metadata standards and developing metadata standards for multidisciplinary data, which I think was also quite useful, and there are outputs on the projects. We also had a number of preparation materials and training. There's a infection disease toolkit. There are a lot of social science data on the data portal. We were involved in creating leaflets, presenting on the conference what social science and humanities data could be found on this data portal. This is very fresh slide, which I borrowed from our actually yesterday meeting of service providers of CESSDA, which colleagues were presenting the brief by Trust Working Group, Trust and Landscape Working Group within CESSDA. And this is a kind of a policy brief. And it had, at the end, it had key takeaways, key recommendations. And I think it's besides of key takeaways for data repositories, for example, demonstrate public commitment to community principles, make public commitment to fair, trust and care principles on website and research outputs, and build credibility and confidence with the stakeholders. But also for research infrastructures, quite interesting that the key priority, the key takeaway is to engage with the EOSC development. And I think it's kind of really showing how CESSDA is thinking towards EOSC and how it tries to be active in that, and also promoting, of course, the role of social sciences in multidisciplinary research, which I think also proved quite important and interesting in this BiCOVID project when we're talking about people from medical science, how and why they are including social science data in their research, why they have to know something about the behavior of their patients, right? I won't go into too much details because the time is running out. Anyway, apart from our larger infrastructure project and apart from this BiCOVID, at the moment we are also involved in a project which is coming to the end, and I will just briefly say what is this project about. This is a huge consortium project. Several institutes of the Czech Academy of Sciences, several universities are included. 150 researchers are included in that. And a part of 9 research groups which are organized according to the topics which might be useful for understanding the socioeconomic risks and impacts of diseases. We have this data core facility, which is us. So within this project, us as a Czech Social Science Data Archive, we realize complex data services. We work out the data management plan in a close cooperation with researchers. We are involved in collecting research data. You see, for example, this Czech household panel studies. We also do training on fair data and open science principles and also data discovery seminars. We provide archive data, so we have a separate catalog designated to this SIRI project, and we also acted in disseminating project results. My colleague, Dr. Trtikova, will talk more about our inclusion into Czech national program for EOSC. I just want to point out that we are trying also to be active, and we are actually leading this EOSC CZ working group on social sciences. Long-term head of our archive, the one who established actually the archive, and now the head of our institute, Dr. Krejci, is leading this working group of social sciences. So in the presentation, which will be later in the afternoon, you will hear a bit more details. That's all from my side. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And now we open the place for 2 questions as in morning. So any question from the audience, please? Over there. Just a second.
I've seen in the presentation that you have CESSDA vocabulary service. What does it mean? Do you really succeed using the similar terminology, which especially in social sciences may be a significant challenge?
Yes, of course, it's a significant challenge, and this CESSDA vocabulary is the initiative which is developing, and we are trying to improve it. We're not directly, as a Czech archive, involved in that, but it's something, we're not talking about the EOSC thesaurus, which is quite well used and developed and translated into different languages. But yes, for the social sciences, we had to establish some basic vocabulary so that at least the results of your search as a researcher ends up with the same results. So I think it's a work in progress. It's a useful tool to have a look at and to develop further, but it's not presented as a ready product. And of course, ready-to-use product. And of course, the issue of sustainability is a huge problem in most of the project where you have this, certain amount of money allocated for developing something. Then you have to be able to sustain it and be able to adopt it to the new challenges, to the new topics, to the new methods of data collection. So it is a huge challenge.
Thank you very much. And do we have any questions on Slido? No? So another question from the audience? So if not, I will ask one. Thank you for showing the data repository. You are using the Dataverse repository system. That's different than what's originally in the National Repository Platform system. But I would say that probably Dr. Trtikova is going to talk about it further. My question is regarding Science for Policy. You mentioned SIRI. Can you elaborate a little bit more how you are trying to push these recommendations to the policy level? Thank you.
Thank you for that. Very good questions. Very good question. For us, it was a kind of a challenge and also very useful experience, because there we understand that we actually had to even to sell some of the data services to our colleagues within the projects. It includes both, like data collection, because some of the data, there was a data series, and we realized that it's very useful, and this data can provide something useful for researchers. So we actually communicate with them about the advantages of this data, and then we finance data collection within this larger project. But of course, we realized that there are a huge number of researchers in different stage, and for some of them, even understanding the fair data principle was quite challenging. And our role was to guide them through the project, also to think in advance what kind of data you're going to use, how you're going to use that, if you're going to collect that, we're going to store the data. Is there any sensitive kind of data? Do you need some special, I forgot the English word, from the respondents? Sorry? Not the agreement, but the consent, yes, sorry for that. A special wording in this consent which you give to your interview. So, and for us also, quite good thing is that it's a good argument for policymakers and politicians who finance this large project, because this is one of the aspects of sustainability, because data will stay there. After this quite expensive, large project, the data will not just disappear at the desks or at the repositories where no one can find them, that they will be available at one place. You can search them, you can look at and of course, our researchers are also using that, what we have in their articles, although they want to apply embargo on the primary data sets, but we have a metadata record, we have DOI, we have citation, and the data will be uploaded once the embargo is finished. So it's like also kind of a one-stop shop, it can complex services, and I think that it provides a quite good standard for initiatives like this in the future.
Okay, so thank you very much once again, and please applause to Dr. Leontiyeva. And just a moment, please, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you.